Hello everybody, this is Technically Speaking. I'm Dr. Susan Lay, and our topic is a continuation of narcissists. Such a hot term, right? And I believe you probably have had more than enough information fed to you. So after reviewing the last couple of videos I've put out about this, which is the first time ever that I've did a video of any sort other than stand up in front of a whole bunch of people, I decided that the clinical approach that I was using is probably not as relatable as me just coming to you in a more friend-to-friend manner. And I'm going to try and change that up because I feel as though the information that I have and have experienced can be very useful to someone, and I want to connect with anyone at that level, so you can put this information to work and help you get away from the toxicity going on in your life. So the last videos went over initially identifying a narcissist, and the next one was red flags of a narcissist. So if you want to go back and view those, that's great. There's a lot of information there. Again, it's pretty clinical, but nevertheless, it's good info on how do you know a person's a narcissist. Because they're not going to get diagnosed because they're too good to go to anybody to see what's wrong with them. So I'm leaving it, it's left up to us laymen to figure it out. So with that, I want to move on into the discard phase. We've already passed the love bombing phase of a narcissist and the devaluation phase. So just to kind of go through a scenario that would be about, if somebody love bombed you or somebody gets really in on your good side, a lot of times I'll refer to it as, man, they're blowing smoke up your ass. So you really need to look to see who's really giving you the hefty duty compliments or trying to win over your, what they're doing is trying to lower your guard. Let's compliment you to where you become easier target for them, relaxed. Again, they're looking for a crack that they can slide into to become really close to you and start to where you give them information. They're just totally into an information gathering stage about you, so they can mimic who you are, because they're going to reflect back to you yourself. So you're going to like yourself, right? You're going to have that much in common with somebody. And then in that, they're going to start picking away at you when they get that crack. And then they'll start criticizing you in the devaluation stage, criticizing you, starting up fights out of the nowhere, crazy making fights. They'll start gaslighting you. When you say it's red, they're going to say it's blue. They're going to say you said that, and they're going to say, no, I didn't. Again, I'm going to kind of reference this, and I don't know where this will take us, but if you are religious at all, they refer to this as the Jezebel spirit. I believe it's more than just one. We are of the flesh. We are influential. So, and maybe on one of these subsequent videos, I'll go into that side of it. So, yeah, I think it's probably beneficial that we do that too. So, anyway, so devaluation. Devaluation and discard. So, you've just trucked along throughout the day. Everything's copacetic. And then all of a sudden, the roof blows up because your narc has caused a scene of some sort. They have pushed your buttons and torqued you, and it ends up being some crazy making Ponzi scheme that has you totally at odds with one another. So here invokes silent treatment. Silent treatment is abuse. It's emotional abuse. If somebody can't sit down and talk to you about what's wrong or tell you in an adult manner what the hell's up, that's emotional abuse. If they stay silent, they're just punishing you and not telling you why. So any of you out there that says, oh, I walk on eggshells, and you don't know why, it's because you're probably being given that stupid silent treatment, and you'll never find out why. Also, in this discard and devaluation stage, don't ever ask the question why, because you won't get a straight answer. It will be everything. Everything you've ever thought about will be thrown at you. It'll be thrown at you with a negative light to where it unsettles your being. So, in abuse in and of itself is bad enough. That doesn't make a person want to, cower away or shy away or retreat. These other insidious tactics that a narcissist uses, they'll triangulate, meaning that, okay, let me give you a triangulation example. You're in a relationship with a narcissist. Here comes a third party. It could be anybody. It could be one of your friends. All of a sudden, they'll take that third party and twist it to where they're going to prove you wrong and that other party's going to agree with them. Or they're going to instill some jealousy emotion in you and start, loving up to these people. Start buttering them up. Hey, they're narcissistic supply, so they're entering the love bombing phase with this person. They're going to butter them up. They're going to joke with them. They're going to be a charismatic, or all of that. Or if they're a shy narc, they're going to have an owie and they're going to ask that person to look at their boo-boo. Whatever their tactics are, is to gain that attention. Positive or negative, got to have the attention. And you're just the onlooker in this scene, right? Pretty much. And then you don't understand to the point of how the background operations going on in this narc's mind. He's pitting people against you for this discard phase. Because when the discard phase happens, there are things already set up in alignment with it. Meaning they've already twisted views of certain people. Let's call them flying monkeys, that they've lied to them about you and how you are. Be the most kindest, gentlest, loving person, and you're going to be the most psychotic, craziest bitch that ever lived in these people's eyes. And they will come around and do some dirty work for that stupid narc. So, long story short, just because you're discard doesn't mean it's over. You got to deal with all this residual shit coming in. So, what do you do, right? Well, I want to say a couple of things here on what do you do. First of all, you got to strap your balls on, okay? Secondly, you want to, when you start getting this crazy making devaluation thing going on, you've got to recognize it for what it is. I know you've been gaslit. I know you're probably madly in love with your narc. I know that you've probably given over your soul to the narc, which is why you're in the puddle of piss you are now. So, this is what you got to do. You've got to plan an escape route. In every emergency situation, everybody needs an escape route. This one's no different. Plan your escape route. If you're totally dependent on your narc, you're going to have to set aside a fund, some monies to get by. If you're in a totally horrendous abusive situation, get the hell out of it. There is a phone number, and I need to look that up for you. I will before this is over, so y'all have it. For the abuse hotline, and they will take you and hide you and feed you and clothe you and your children to get out of that abuse environment. So I'm going to go back to, you're in it, you got a plan to get out of it, and this is not one of those things to where you can say, oh, but I still love him, and you end up going back to him. When you plan this and you escape, there's no going back. None. Because every time you go back, you've hit this abandon button within them, that the abuse will get turned up a notch when you come back. It'll keep getting turned up and keep getting turned up. So when you leave, you leave. You close that door, you never look back, and you keep moving. So you develop a little fund of your own. Don't tell nobody. I mean nobody. Nobody. So you got this going on when that devaluation stage shows up, right? Let's see, what else do I want to say here? You tell nobody. Oh, and then you have to execute, of course. Now, your exit strategy may be in the middle of the night, pack your bags and go. If you got the money, that's great. Do it. My exit strategy was lock the doors, bolt them, don't let them back in, and then monitor the premises for the next year. Don't want them in, don't want them near me, nothing. So if you're wanting to stay where you are, lock them out. If you need to go because you can't handle where you're at, get the hell out. Don't look back. Okay. Toxic people will win at that game every single time. Don't think you're better than they are. Don't think you can play it more than they can. And certainly do not stay in an abusive situation to where you're a slave to these crazy fuckers. Don't do it. So lastly, of course, did I say get out? Get away? Yeah. Go. Devaluation, discard. So if you've hit these stages, be aware that in the narc's life, if you want to call it a life, in the narc's fantasy world, they've already lined supply up. So you've already been replaced as primary, or you are. If you're hitting discard stage, you may still be in the primary zone, but they're actually getting supply somewhere else. So they got a cutesy little funsy little person going on over here too, right? Or several of them. But you are no longer, because you're in discard. And plus, you're not new anymore. See, narcs have to have everything new and exciting and fun, and new and exciting and fun, because they're little kids playing with their big red ball. So, new and exciting and fun. If you're not new and exciting and fun, then you're going to slowly drift off into that discard stage. So, what other signs did I want to look at for that? Oh, I wanted to look up that number for sure. Hang on. Let me get that number. Abuse hotline for women. This is for women. Men, oh my gosh, I feel bad for you guys. Can't hardly say anything to anybody. Can't even, oh yeah, she beat up on me. I mean, you guys are really backed in a corner here. Where did it go? Abuse hotline for women. Nada. I had a lady look this up for me just the other day. Men can be victims of abuse too. Okay, so the men are included on this too. Way to go, guys. Men can be victims of abuse. Get help. Pass to safety. I want a phone number. Here it is. Here is. I found it. Or you can chat. So it's 1-800-799-7233. 1-800-799-7233. Okay, if you are hearing impaired, 800-787-3224. And I believe that's for Spanish as well. So if you're in America, it's, well, an 800 number, it could be anywhere. I'm not sure if they have it set up in other countries or not. But the National Domestic Abuse Violence Hotline, which this is domestic abuse, being abused by narcissistic abuse is domestic abuse. 1-800-799-7233 or 7233 or 3224. No, Susan. All right, 800-799-7233 or 1-800-787-3224. I thought they were similar, but they are not. All right, so that's that. So, discard. I'm going to go through a scenario of what's going on with you while you're enduring abuse here. a lot, for one. Um, First coming to the realization you are. It's so hard to admit. Why is it hard? It's hard to admit because your reality has been shape shifted, and it's been a while since you checked in with the starting point. So it shape shifted and morphed, and it was almost unrecognizable that it was happening until you got woke up one day going, what the hell is this, and what in the hell's going on? Especially when you hit the discard. The devaluation to me is, God, it's just horrible. Devaluation could be anything. Your hair looks bad, your body sucks. I can't believe you did that. Are you going to put on, you dare not ask them, do these jeans make my ass look big? Oh my gosh, you would think you looked like a freight train. But anyway, so yeah, your whole sense of reality has been distorted just piece by piece by piece. So when you want to come back to that point, that go point, can't find it. It's been all wrapped up around and back again that you can't freaking locate it. And you don't even know who you are when you can't get your grounding. So in the discard phase, and you're trying to set up this escape route, don't let any kind of insecure thoughts or thinking you can't do it because you can do it. Even in that mist and that fog of not knowing, it's a disorientation. They call it something else in the clinical world. I'm sure anybody looking at this would know the word. But yeah, you're disoriented because you've been gaslit so much that you don't even really know what's true and what's not. But you do know what you do is true. So if you're putting money in an account, nobody knows about the account. You know the money's going to be in the account. Now, don't do that to the family account or any account your narc can get a hold of, because it's probably not going to be there. It's all going to be shifted and fucked up. Tell nobody. I just really, I can't drive that point home enough. Tell no one. Hardly anyone understands narcissistic abuse. And if you go to tell them about it, especially in that stage, they're going to think you're crazy because of all the stuff that that's being revealed to you. It's coming at such a fast pace that it's going to look crazy to other people. But you know, the gaslighting and the triangulation and the put downs and the criticisms and the whole 9 yards of it, and then this narc portrays as being the most outgoing and thoughtful and most caring person there is on the planet to everybody else. Yeah, they're going to think you're crazy. So don't let that stop you from leaving. If you're being abused in your domicile, get the fuck out or lock the shit out. Period. Get away from the toxic. Got to. You got to get your children away from it. You got to get away from it. And the more you start identifying these traits, you'll start realizing that they've been evident in your life for a long time, and you're probably going to have to discard. You're probably going to have to put in boundaries. I love that book, Boundaries. Get the book, Boundaries. Please get the book, Boundaries. It's an awesome book. The reason it got to this stage is because we allowed it to. When your boundaries were being violated initially, that's when, we should have said, oh, this ain't going to work. But we thought, nah, it'll come back to the way it was. It'll be okay. It's not going to go back to the way it was. I don't want to be the bearer of bad tidings, but it will not go back to the way it was. Okay, the Boundaries book. It's got a pencil down it. There it is. Doctors, who are they? Henry Cloud and John Townsend. It's the best book I've ever seen on this. And there's a workbook you can get with it. If you've never had a boundary, never been taught, more than likely your boundaries were violated at a young age. meaning that no matter how you felt, said, or thought, your parents would overrule you. So you never really had a good way of establishing your boundaries, never taught to establish and even honor them. So get the book Boundaries. Secondly, I recommend getting a good therapist, a psychologist. Hard to find one that knows really truly the in-depths that a person goes through as a narcissistic survivor. But you want one at least that's very trained in CPTSD, and that's complex post-trauma syndrome, post-traumatic, I don't know, PTSD, post-trauma syndrome. I mean, we're so used to acronyms these days that what does it really mean? Post-traumatic stress disorder. Okay, so it is stressful. So it's complex, though. Complex post-traumatic stress disorder, because it's trauma stacked over, it keeps stacking and stacking and stacking, so it's complex. I mean, once you uncover one layer, you're going to hit another layer, and this all originates at some point, probably back as a kid, and then it's stacked because you were porous in your boundaries. So, I don't want to say, one's worse than the other. Post-traumatic stress disorder, PTSD, that most of our servicemen and women come back with is because of an event. They have perfect recollection of the event. Complex PTSD is that there's so many of them that you can't even point to one being worse than the other. They just stacked on one or the other. So these therapists are really good at helping identify the different layers and the precise mechanism that caused it to stack. It would be really good if you could really find one that has a lot of knowledge in narcissistic abuse. I know a lot of them, or I say a lot, I know some that have counseled narcissists. That's a totally different ballgame. Other than, they did it in a family group setting and they see, cause and effect throughout. But long-term, good help's so hard to find these days. Good help is essential to recovery. So you need somebody on your side. They will be on your side, and you can talk about it with them. There's hardly anyone else in the world that you can put the emphasis on that how this issue is in your life, cropped up in your life, and is happening in your life. Most of the times, the ones that you'll run to are the ones that are doing it to you also. Another thing you'll go through is grief, because you're going to be losing your narc. And you may lose some people around you that exhibit some behaviors. So I know for myself, I went through a huge grieving period. First off, my father passed away. Now, my father more or less had CPTSD than he did being a narc. My mother's the narc. So my dad passed away, grieving there, right? Then my best friend in the whole world passed away, just overnight, boom. And then I was in a car wreck. Somebody rear-ended me and totaled out my car. So it took me a little while to recover from that. And I had a lot of losses right there in a row. So I'd still probably have to deal with the fourth one. I know there's 4. Okay. Well, then I got the divorce. Yeah, I got rid of the narc. Dad, friend, wreck, narc. Yeah, can't forget the narc already. But also had encountered where my parents exhibited these, and these go on in families, and it's up to you to break the cycle. And thanks for tuning in to help break the cycle. I'm breaking it in my family. hoping I can encourage you to break it in yours and for yourself at least, and your children's sake. Life does not have to be a pile of crap. It really doesn't. And if somebody's going off on the crazy train every day and there's no need for it, nothing happened to instigate it, they just happen to fly off the handle for no apparent reason. I challenge you to look at, are they selfish? Are they entitled? Do they ever say they're sorry? Is there any genuine feeling? Oh, Leo, stop. So I'll let you go. Thank you. Have a good night.